Hello, FlossTube. Welcome to the Science Nister channel. I'm Deb or Deborah, and I am recording this Sunday morning, March 7th. It's just after 10 o'clock here in South Texas. And I'm actually at our house in Corpus Christi. I came a little over a week ago to have my annual physical, so my doctor would renew my thyroid medication. Excuse me. I'm still here. So I have an update, and I will have the drawing. Actually, I've already done the drawing, so I'll be able to announce the winners, which I will do near the end. This is a channel. It's FlossTube, so it's about stitching, mainly cross stitching, but I do all kinds of fibery things. So occasionally some of those will pop up. Today I actually have some knitting, and I have it right with me. I know I mentioned it last time and I forgot to show it. I forgot a lot of things I meant to say last time and show last time. Some of which I can't show you this time because they're at my place in the Rio Grande Valley. So anyway, so as I've been doing the last few episodes, I wanted to share with you what hot drink I have today. I am drinking tea, as I've been doing lately. Sometimes I'll have my own version of a latte, but today I am drinking Super Irish Breakfast. This is that's probably my favorite stash tea. I normally, at my apartment in the Rio Grande Valley, I normally use loose tea unless I'm in a hurry. But since my husband has basically taken over our house for his business, where he grows flowers and plants and vegetables and sells them at the local farmer's market, I try to keep my mess to a minimum when I'm here to keep out of his way. Let's just say, like he's taken over almost the whole house. So it's probably good that I don't live here on a permanent basis anymore. Anyway, so that's the tea I'm drinking this morning. And I also have some of my spring stitchery to show you, since I'm going to be putting that up later today, as it is finally March. Let me see, what else did I want to say as sort of a preview? Yeah, and I do have like one last winter stitchery. It's a Valentine's piece that I haven't shown because last time I was here, when I recorded a FlossTube and was showing my winter stitchery, I hadn't put out any Valentine's related stuff here. And most of my Valentine's stuff is at my apartment, except for this one piece that lives, well, actually it's 3 pieces in one, as you will see in a moment. Actually, not in a moment. I think I'll share my stitchy stuff first, my own, like what I'm working on and stuff first, and then I'll show my spring stitchery. And I will have a science corner at the end. No matter how long this goes, there will be a science corner at the end. So Michelle Bendy Stitchy, get something to drink and sit, and this might be another movie. So you said you like my movie version, so this might be another movie. I hope not. Personally, I tend to like shorter floss tubes, so I like to watch them in one sitting, so I can watch them now when I'm eating breakfast. I save the longer ones just for the weekend when I have more time to devote to a single floss tube. So, but apparently I like to talk, so my floss tubes are not short. Maybe if I did weekly ones, I don't know. But so let's get started. I've got my book, and I noticed I forgot to record yesterday, but that's okay. I actually remember what I did yesterday, which isn't always the case. Okay, so first I want to start with an almost finish. I posted this on Instagram as a finish, and then I copy my Instagram post to my Facebook account, which is private, And I posted this as a finish, and then bless her heart, Judy of Judy Stitchery Nook, my local stitching store. I love it. She's like, don't forget the little string going down from the bird's beak to the heart. Like, yeah, I forgot that. And I don't have the color with me. I was hoping I at least had the DMC here, but no. So it's going to have to wait for a real finish until I get back to the valley. So if you've watched my last couple episodes, you know I've been showing this heart in hand Valentine bird. And so I thought I finished mine this last week. Actually, I think it was the night or the night after I got here. And so, you know, I even put my initials, but, you know, she's right. There's this, you know, string, so the bird is actually holding the heart. And I forgot it. So I will put that in before I do the final finishing on this, the FFOing, which I still haven't decided if I'm going to do like a nun stitch, which is basically a blanket stitch edge, sort of. It ends up looking like a blanket stitch edge. Or a hem stitch, which would make it look a little more finished. And then I think I mentioned last time my plan, I kind of got that idea. I hope you don't hear that banging. That's my cat trying to get into a cabinet that she doesn't belong in. She likes to get in things. Fortuna! It's quiet now, so she either got in or she gave up. I'm not sure which. No, she's still trying to get in. Fortuna! And my husband's not here, so he can't stop her. Okay, bear with me for a minute. Sorry, if I stop this, it's gone. Fortuna! What are you doing? Here. Come here. Come get on FlossTube. Want to come get on FlossTube? Yeah, no, you don't want to be on FlossTube, do you? Well, you were on FlossTube because they could hear your banging. Here she is. Here's the culprit. Here's Fortuna, our big fluffy kitty. Well, she's not that big, but she's about 1.5 years old. We adopted her off the street. She just showed up. She's so pretty, but she's a little handful. There you go, girl. Stop trying to get into the cabinet. She likes to get into things, as you can tell. Anyway, as I was saying, I will finish this. And I got the idea from watching Raspberry Stitcher. She was talking about her mother's from, postcards from mother, letters from mother that she had done for her daughter who was off to college. And she actually made like little quilted things, but that gave me the idea. It's like, oh yeah, instead of actually, you know, making an ornament or a pillow, could do something more flat. And then what I'm thinking, I think I might have mentioned this, I'm thinking of getting like an easel and displaying it. And I want to try to finish all the holidays, at least the ones that I have. I think I'm missing Thanksgiving. There might be one other one I'm missing, but so there's that. So I did this on 36 count sparrow from Luminous Fiber Arts. I used the called for colors. I believe I used all of them. Yes. I used all the called for. It calls for a combination of Weeks Dye Works and Vinyl Arts. So, and I don't even have the threads here anymore because I put them away because I thought I was done. But no. Okay. So that was my almost finish. And I do have a couple of new starts. So new start number 1. Whoops. I didn't mean to show the pattern. New start number 1. Unfortunately, I printed this one out in black and white. And I know since I bought this pattern a few weeks ago, Jacob updated it and actually has a 2-color version. This was a monochrome version. It was all in blue, and I really liked the blue on the cream linen, and so that's what I decided to do too. But he didn't say what blue, and I picked up something from my stash that I had a lot of, but I'll show you in a second. But I either missed it or didn't notice, but I think I would have noticed. You also now, so this is the hiragana sampler. So the hiragana is the alphabet that Japanese use for their own words, and it's the first writing that children learn before they start learning the Chinese kanji. Japanese words would be written in hiragana. But they also have another alphabet for foreign words called katakana. And Jacob has Modern Folk Embroidery has a katakana sampler out now too. And so I want to get that, and I actually want to put them together because I am doing this for Stitch Asia, that Abby Bella Stitch, and I forget who else. I'm so bad with names. I know I say that like every episode, but I am. Anyway, I was working on this last night. So I actually started this March 1st for Stitch Asia month. So I'm doing this for the Sal Stitch Asia. And don't have a big start. I had very little stitching time on the first, and as I will show you in a little bit, I spent most of yesterday working on Ann Roberts sampler, but I did want to get back this last night, and I spent part of my stitching time looking at katakana to see if it was the same size. It is. So here's my plan. I'm going to do, and I put this away already, I'm going to do the hiragana sampler, but for the bottom border, let me get this back out. Sometimes I don't think very clearly. For the bottom border, I am going to put in here, I'm going to replace some of these little flowers with my name in katakana, because I have that from summer when that I spent in Japan. And then I'm going to repeat this again and replace these flowers with NSF, for National Science Foundation, Summer Institute in Japan, 1993. I hope that will all fit. Now I'm thinking maybe that won't all fit. I might just put Summer Institute in Japan, 1993. So that was the summer I spent in Japan as a graduate student, working, learning Japanese and working with Japanese scientists. I had gotten to the point where I could like go into the post office and actually get what I want, get into a taxi and end up where I wanted to go. That was good. But I didn't really get, I was not like fluent or anything. I did keep studying Japanese for a quarter when I got back to the University of Georgia, which is where I was doing my PhD, but I just didn't have time to keep it up. And it's been a few years now since I've been in touch with the Japanese scientists I work with, so I used to hear from a couple of them periodically. So this is the blue that I chose. I have a lot of this old Needle Necessities 113 in my stash, and I looked it up. Let's see if I kept it handy. So Threadworks bought all the Needle Necessity. I hope I didn't close that one. Threadworks bought all the Needle Necessities recipes, formulas for their dyeing, and let me see. So this is apparently the equivalent of, if you like this color, the equivalent of 01020 Cloudy Skies in the Threadworks. So that's what their website says, their conversion for Needle Necessities to Threadworks. So, and then, okay, and I didn't finish telling you my plan. So I'll put that, the Summer Institute in Japan, 1993. And then below that, I'm going to put the katakana sampler. But I'm going to change it up just a little bit. I think I'm going to take the top border, which is a floral border reminiscent of this, but not the same, and use that as the bottom border. And then I determined one of the things I was doing last night, I was determining that this fat quarter that I have will indeed accommodate both samplers, and it will, especially if I don't use the bottom border for the katakana and instead move the top border down, because I'm doubling the bottom border on the hiragana sampler to make it sort of in the middle. Does that make any sense at all? I hope so. It makes sense in my head. So I may work on this a little bit more today, but there's a new start I want to do, so get there in a second. Okay, I have one other new start since our last time together, and that is the Roxy Mystery Stitch Along. So so each part is released separately, and you don't know. She gave us a little preview of the top of the sampler. And actually part 1 doesn't have all of these strawberries. It's basically doing the vine and the leaves. And then I forget. I haven't printed it out because I can't print when I'm here. Sometimes I print it. It's a little bit older. Sometimes it plays nice and my laptop can find it. And then the next time I'm here, I can't. So anyway, so I got a very small start on Roxy. And actually, I think, oh, I'm showing you the back. Let me do this right. I just started the vine going down. And this is 37 count corn tassel. Which is supposedly, according to something I read on the Hats website, the Hands Across the Sea website, is the equivalent to the 30 count Victoria or Victorian sponge cake that Jean Farish, the designer, is using in her kits that she sold. So this should be the same. And this is a legacy linen from Access Commodities. And let me just show you the threads. These are all the threads. So nice, bright, springy colors. I'm not sure I'm even going to try to keep up with this one. I don't know. It's not calling my name like Ann Roberts is these days. So we'll see. Just like, there's too many Sal's right now. I want to do them all. Okay. So, whips. Let me get my... Okay, what have I worked on since we were last together? Let's see. So I did spend another evening, and that could have been like 15 minutes. I don't know. I don't remember. Working on Barbara Anna's Flowers from the Sea, which is one of my mermaids. So it actually is part of my Whip Go. For those of you that don't know about Whip Go, especially those of you that are new, I just realized I did not welcome people. Welcome. And oh, I'm so excited about all the new, I had new subscribers this week, and more folks leaving comments than normal, which was really great. So thank you. And I hope you enjoyed this episode too, if you're coming back. And if you're new, welcome, and I hope you come back. Okay, so this is Flowers from the Sea, Barbara Anna. That's my progress. So last time I think I showed this, I did. I just had these flowers in, which was new. I had already had the rest of this in from last year. So I started putting in these little stars. So I didn't bring this with me. I was kind of in a hurry to leave and wasn't sure how long I was going to be here. And I was trying to travel lighter than usual. So I left a lot of my stitching that I might have worked on if I brought it with me. I never know what I want to work on. So it's kind of a bummer when I would have worked on X, but I left it in Brownsville. So I worked on that. And then I already showed you the Valentine bird. I worked a couple nights on that and thought I had finished it on the 24th. But no, that was actually the night before it came up. And then for the 25th, and I think I actually posted this incorrectly on Instagram. I might have gotten it wrong, whatever. But I know I worked on it on the 25th. I was working on the Stitching Book Club's A Christmas Carol. No, I didn't finish it back in December. There's always too many things to stitch. And then Brenda Gervais had her new thing out. And then I ended up teaching over our winter break, so I didn't have as much stitching time as I thought I was going to have. Anyway, oh, let me put something behind this. Get myself organized here. So, I did make a little progress, and I don't remember where I was last time I showed this, but I got more of this green in. So I'm trying to like just go around and get all that in. The whole thing is released now, obviously. So here are the colors. She used DMC. Sorry for the tangles. And then the needle minder I'm using on this one. Not that I really use a needle minder all that much because I stitch in hand most of the time. Is from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. It actually goes with her Hello Dear, which I haven't started yet. I haven't even kitted it. I kitted Hello Pumpkin and Positivity Rules, and have I started either one? No. Because once I get those kitted, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start, and then new, shiny, something new catches my eye, and and everybody's selling it, and you know how it goes. If I were rich, I'm not sure I would retire because there are many aspects of my job that I enjoy immensely. Making a difference in my community. So I'm not sure I would actually retire and spend all my time stitching and crafting, but it's a dream, right? Given the opportunity, I'm not sure I would actually do it. I would probably get bored after a while. I'm not helping anybody, just sitting here stitching, but I guess I could volunteer. Well, it's a moot point because I'm not independently wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. As all of the teachers and other college instructors out there know, we don't go into this for the money. Yes, it's a good job, but sometimes it is thankless and it's not the big money. No, definitely if I had gone into something industry related for science, I could make a whole lot more money, but I don't do this for the money. I mean, yes, I want to have a comfortable life, but I also want to have my work be meaningful, at least to me. Okay, here is the lovely Ann Roberts, which has come out quite often. And I've made quite a bit of progress on her from the last time I showed her to you guys. Some more on the border, some fill-in over here. I think I filled some stuff in. I started working on the grass, and it's hard to see, but I actually started putting in some of the sheep. And then over here, I'm ready. Is it over here? Yes, over here. I'm ready to start putting in some of the people. So I'm still kind of sussing my way, like where do I want to go next? So there's that. Let's see, what else did I want to say? I need to turn my phone over. I don't have notifications like ding at me anymore, but stuff pops up, and that was a work related one, and I don't want to think about that one today. It's the weekend. I'm taking it off. Unless it's from a student, then I'll respond. But I got some more of the border in. And what I like to do for this is get to places where I have a lot of fill in. And then when I have like a Zoom stitch in, or I'm FaceTiming with Susan, or like this past week, I got a lot of this grass in while, and some of the fill in. Actually, I was working on some of the border too. On Tuesday evening, I had a late meeting, but then was able to go to the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild meeting. So during that meeting, I worked on this. And then after that, I decided to take the rest of the evening off. And I went to Abby Bella Stitch's Google meeting for a bit, which was fun. And met some new people there. And then yesterday, I worked on Anne, actually working on some of the border during my EGA chapters stitch in. So that's Anne Roberts, and I'm really starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel on her. I guess you can see her okay this way. Doesn't really see through. So I'm stitching her on 36 count parchment, which was recommended by Sassy Jacks, where I purchased the pattern and the linen. And then I did my own, those of you that have been watching know that I did my own over-dyed conversion. And once I finish her, I'll post that conversion if anybody's interested. So let me know if you're interested. Okay. Where's her little bag? So that's Anne Roberts. And then another one that has come out a couple of times, not as often as Anne, is the Stitching Book Club's Sense and Sensibility. I stitched on this one 2 or 3 times, I think. I guess only once since the last time. But we did get a little bit done. So part 2 actually came, so this is another mystery sal. Part 2 came out last time. This is from Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. The name of the designer is Kristen Ashley, but she goes by Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. You can buy this on her Etsy shop. It's her Sense and Sensibility sal. This was part 1. Part 2 came out yesterday. I can't print it, so I downloaded it and saved it, but so, oh, and I forgot to say for Anne Roberts, I'm stitching with 1 thread over 2 linen threads. This one is on a Mystery Ada. It's a blue. I don't know what the color is. I found it in my stash. But this is, I do know it's 18 count because the bag said that. And I am using 1 thread. She charted this in DMC, so I'm using the called for DMC. She has 1 version for blue fabric, and then for folks that wanted to do it on a white fabric, she did. She switched out some of the colors. So I listened to the book on audio tape and ended up listening to the whole thing. Which I didn't mean to do. And yesterday there was the discussion for part 1, which is I think up to chapter 22, which I haven't gone back to see where it was. So I was planning to, didn't get there, but that's okay. Okay. Actually, let me kind of do these in order. Just got 2 more whips to show you. So, working on Sewn in Friendship. So this is 2 patterns by Heartstring Samplery, and the other is by Plum Street. And my friend Susan and I are stitching these together. We're both working on the Heartstring Samplery half right now. And let's see, I think you can see it here. So this is the Heartstring Samplery part, and this is the part from Plum Street, and they go together. This is shown like 2 different pieces actually sewn together. And even though I am sure Susan could get that to line up if she really wanted to, because she's an engineer, I'm like, I don't have the patience to try. So I am glad she decided that we were going to stitch this. She kitted this all up. She is fantastic. That we're going to stitch it on 1 piece of linen, right? So we both have 1 piece of linen. 36 count Weeks Dye Works beige. And we're stitching with one thread over two using the called for threads. And Susan kitted it all up for us using the same, basically the same source, trying to get the same dye lot so that our colors would match up. So we're working on this half now. And notice I already put my initial in here. And then we're gonna, once we finish this half, we're gonna trade and we're gonna stitch the other half. So we each have, when it's complete, we each have one that we've each stitched half of. I think I said that right. I would say we did make one substitution down here. I don't know if you can see, but there's stuff down here and there's a bunch of stuff up here too. That's supposed to be in the white, which is grits. I think you can see it. I think you can see it better here. See up here, and then it's kind of hard to see down here. And that's grits, and it just wasn't showing up on this fabric. And Susan even tried subbing the really bright DMC, the B20 5200. I think that's it, the name of it. And so what she decided or tried out is down here we're actually using the pink that's used in the Plum Street half, Meredith's pink. So we're going to use that because she felt like that showed up better. And I was like, if you think it looks better, let's go for it. So that's what we're doing. But otherwise, we're using all the called for on this one. So I was able to make a little progress on this one and realize I had like totally messed up this because way back here, I missed a stitch. I am not taking this out. I just made a little note to myself for any of this stuff above here, do not count from here or you'll mess up everything. So I just made a little note for myself that's a little messed up. So Susan's piece will be truly unique when it's done because I messed up. What do they call it? A design opportunity? We're going with that, right? Okay, one last whip, and then I want to show you some of my spring stitchery, and then I'll talk about plans and a little bit of haul because I left most of my haul at my apartment. Okay, now I would have made more progress on this next one. I had planned to spend, there was one evening I had planned to spend a lot of time on her. Julia L. Fuchs. And I keep wanting to call her Louisa. I do not know why. Maybe it's the L. I don't know. So this is GGR. This is my first GGR. I'm really excited to be working on a GGR piece. And I am stitching her on Weeks Dye Works straw, 45 count, with SWA 103, number 524. Really like this combination. I kind of thought about using a more pinky red, but like in the picture, but I really like how this looks together. So what I was able to do, okay, so there was one day last weekend, I was going to work on her. And then I realized I forgot to pack a needle threader. So I put it away. Because I use a number 12 short beading needle on this 45 count, and it's short, so it's not doesn't have a pointy end, so I don't stick myself. You can still jab yourself if you're not careful, but it's not pointy like a chenille or embroidery needle. So it's like, oh shoot. And then I started thinking, surely I have a needle threader somewhere in this house. And I did. I found one in my sewing kit. Okay, I'm not sure where this one came from. I'll find out later. So I found one, although I think it was maybe it was meant for a sewing needle. And so maybe it was a little too thick, and let's just say the second or third time I needed to rethread the needle, I broke the eye trying to pull everything through. And that's the only number 12 I have with me. I have a number 10. I just don't like it as much. So I'm like, okay, this is a sign that it's not time to work on Julia. Excuse my slip. But I was able to get a little bit of the border. My plan was to get all the border in. So to get the border in all the way across and then work on the border across there. And I thought this would be another good one that was, you know, sort of mindless, no counting involved for like during stitch-ins and stuff. But no. So she's put away until I either stumble upon a number 12 beading needle, which it's possible because I do bead. Although I normally, when I was doing a lot of beading, I used a different type of needle, not the little short needles. I only use those when I'm putting beads on cross stitch. But anyway, if I stumble upon a number 12 here, I might work on it because I think I'm going to be here another week. We'll see. I was going to leave today, but my husband's vehicle is having issues, so I'm going to stay at least until he gets it fixed because I don't want him stranded somewhere where I can't. I'm 2.5, 3 hours away and can't help him. Okay, so that's what I've been working on. But before I get into my plans, I did want to, and show some knitting, just one thing. I did want to show some of my spring stitchery. So let me do that. Let me see. And then I have an unboxing. You're just gonna have to wait. Okay, so the last of my Valentine's stitchery. Oh, let me get this cup out of your way. Last of my Valentine's, excuse me, sorry. This is the last of my Valentine's stitchery. Those of you that have watched my FlossTube before and saw when I did the winter stitch, Christmas stitchery from our house when I was here at my house. This is the same like frame-like thing that I used for the Christmas angels. And my plan, like way back when, was to make this seasonal. And I even made myself a little template for the size of the fabric needs to be, as well as, you know, like a little thing showing, okay, the stitching part has to stay in this area. And have I actually done that yet? No. So, we'll see if I ever go there. But, so this is a freebie from Lizzie Kate that I stitched on 25 count over 1. This is, I think, Lugana. And this is an embroidery. It was from a little booklet, either like little red work or green work or blue work. There was these set of little booklets that had lots of cute little patterns in it. And so it was actually meant to be monochrome, but I decided to use colors where like all of these would kind of go together. And then this is a hardanger piece that I'm pretty sure that I did it when we lived in Southwest Virginia. And I took a hardanger class at a needle workshop in Roanoke that I used to go to. That, in fact, they had like it wasn't like a guild, but it was a, I guess we kind of called it a guild, but it wasn't attached to any like the national guilds or anything, I don't think. No, it might have been their EGA chapter, because I think when I was there, I belonged to 2 different EGA chapters, one in Roanoke and one in Blacksburg. Anyway, so she had a class on hardanger, and I took it there, and then I just backed it with just a little piece of fabric that I found in my stash. I think it was like a little fat quarter that I'd picked up somewhere, and it kind of blended, the colors kind of blended with what I was already doing. So I'm like, oh, let me put that on there too, it fits. So maybe what I could do is just get different backing fabric for this one and just make this one, you know, stay in there, and then I only have to do 2. Hold that thought. Okay, so that's the last of my winter stitchery. So you can see, this just fell out. So you can see it's just a little, it came this way. And then this was a frame I got from my mom years and years ago when I did the angels. And so okay, Susan, don't look. I did not zigzag my edges. I told you, don't look. Anyway, so that just pops right out, and you can, like I said, I made myself like a little cardboard cutout for the size and everything, but I haven't used it. Let me just put this here. Hopefully I won't knock it over. Okay, some spring stitchery that's going to go on the wall. So this was a class that I took at Ginger's Needle Arts and Framing, and I believe the piece is called Rabbits in the Arbor, but it's got a lot of specialty stitches, and I think this was done on, I'm betting it's 32 count. It might have been 28, but it looks like an even weave. So it's probably a Lugana. I don't remember, but, and I believe we might have used all the called for. So it's just not like on an even weave, probably Lugana, probably 32 count, but lots of specialty stitches, even some black work, some eyelets, and so forth. I don't remember the name of the designer. I do still have the pattern, but I put this out every spring. So it's coming out, even though it's not technically spring yet. I completed this in 2003. I had it framed at Images by Jay in San Antonio, which was recommended to me by the ladies in the San Antonio Needlework Guild. And this was a while ago. I don't even know if he's still in business, but he gave me a discount because my dad was in the Coast Guard. Like, awesome. I thought, you know, it's like, well, the families lived through it too. The families served too. So I'll give you, because we had just been chit-chatting, and I was like, oh, my dad was in the Coast Guard. Like, oh, I have a discount for military and retired military and their families. Like, wow. Okay, this is in no particular order. It's just the way it went into the stack. This is from Heart in Hand. It was one where I can't remember if it's a kit that comes in like a little box. Like, it looks almost like a Chinese takeout box, but it's somewhat opaque, not completely. And this is the only one I've completed. And you could she had limited edition frames that came out with all of them, and I think I could never find the one that came with winter. So I have all the frames. I just need to finish stitching them. This one I had framed at Ginger Needle Arts and Framing. Teresa framed it. And, you know, I had glass put in, and they put spacers between the glass and the stitched item, so the glass doesn't sit right on it. But I think I'll probably try to frame the others myself, and then I just need to find a frame that looks pretty much the same, a blue one. But they all have these crackle finish, and I think maybe the blue one just never came out. I think these were East Side Molding, and I'm not sure if they're still in business. I remember there was somebody who did a lot of the frames that cross stitchers used back in my day, like 20 years ago, when I was more active. And this was actually, when did I finish this? 2007. So I think I just kind of lost steam when I couldn't get the winter one. I don't know why, because I have the summer and the fall frames. think the summer one is green and the fall one might be a brown wood tone. But they all have this crackle finish. But I won't be able to get that for the winter one. But if I could find one like this, you know, the right size, I just need to get one for winter. Okay. Did not think about where I was going to stack these as I showed them. I guess in front of me until they get too high. This is a Lizzie Kate, one of her, I think this was the Boxer Junior series. I showed the winter one. This is the spring one. I think the linen and the button came with the pattern in the kit, but you had to supply the threads yourself. And I think for this one, I did use all the called for. And this one I finished in 2006 and had it framed at Ginger's Needle Arts and Framings, which is sadly no longer in business. But this is very cheerful. Okay, this is one of the Bent Creek zippers, and actually I think the rest of these are all Bent Creek. This is another one that Jay in San Antonio framed for me. The one that did the rabbits in the arbor. And obviously I don't use no glare glass. So this was a kit, one of their zipper kits, Bent Creek. And it's spring, and I can't remember if it was, you know, the spring zippers, but everything came in the kit. The floss, this one was done completely. Some of their zippers, especially the early ones, sometimes they gave all floss. Sometimes they gave a combination of floss and pearl cotton, because these are all an 18 count, these zippers. But anyway, so I finished this one. And this one I finished in 2003. And then I think, yeah, I had this framed before we went to Virginia, because we went to Virginia in 2003. And I remember that year, yeah, that was the year I was teaching at Trinity. So it was easier for me to get stuff framed in San Antonio, because that's where Trinity is. I was commuting there from San Marcos, which is in between Austin and San Antonio, although closer to Austin. So it's just easier for me to do stuff there. Okay, let me move these out of the way. Actually, let's trade piles. That'll work. And then this is another zipper. I think this was a zipper. Yeah, this was another zipper. This was a series of little houses, and I showed the winter one already. I think I've showed the fall one too, of all these. I have to go back and watch my own FlossTube to see what I showed. Yeah, I think I did show fall. I was here for fall, so so this is just I think I've mentioned I'm a sucker for anything seasonal, especially seasons, but kind of holidays too, even though I don't always end up stitching them. I collect them. Maybe I should say I'm a cross-stitch collector. But anyway, and this one was finished in 2004. And that's when we were living in southwestern Virginia. So I had this framed at a place in Blacksburg called Artist's Choice, which was what the ladies in the EGA chapter there recommended. So, which was nice. He had he didn't have like the cross, and Jay and San Antonio didn't either have the cross stitch specific frames, but they had nice choices. So actually all of these I had framed the same with this frame. Can't remember if they were all this color. I don't remember, but I think I finished all those the same year. So he framed them for me. And then this was framed by Ginger's Needle Arts and Framing, another Bent Creek. I can't remember if this was a zipper. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was a zipper. I don't remember the name of it. And I probably still have all of these patterns. So if you're interested in any of them, I would be happy, especially since it was from a kit, I'd be happy to pass the stash. No, just the pattern. I may have given some of the patterns of the ones that I finished a while ago to the Angie chapter in Austin when I was a member of the Bluebonnet chapter, because they would have, I don't know if they still do, oh, that's better. They would have a sort of an auction to the members. It was sort of past the stash that made money for the chapter. But I might have donated some of them there, but I think I have most of them. So, and on some of these kits, I'm not sure if they're still available or not, but I know like Helen D, who goes by East Coast Crafter, I think, on Instagram. She's another floss tuber that I like to watch. She doesn't do like samplers and stuff usually, at least not like the historical reproductions like I like to do. But she likes Lizzie Cade and Ben Creek and Heart and Hand and other things that I personally wouldn't stitch, but I do like to see a variety just to kind of get an idea of what's out there, and I just enjoy listening to her. She's oh, this didn't go back where it needs to go. She's very, her voice is very calm, and when I just need to relax and one of her floss tubes has come out, like I'm on it, and Raspberry Stitch are kind of the same. She's seems like kind of low key and enjoyable, just to listen and see what they're working on. Even for Raspberry Stitcher, like pretty much everything she shows I want to stitch. Oh my god, and Nicole's needlework, oh, shut up, oh my god. If you don't watch Nicole's needlework and you like samplers, get your butt over to her floss tube, man. Oh my god. She's another one, she's one of the few floss tubers I see that one of hers is dropped and I'm like, when's work over? I want to watch that. Like as soon, like dinner time, like making dinner, I'm watching Nicole, or I'm, eating my dinner. Yeah. And then I also, I didn't mean this to be a segment on floss tubers I enjoy, but I also enjoy Michelle Bendy Stitchy, especially. I haven't had a chance to, join any of her stitching chats lately, but those are always a bunch of fun. It's just kind of, people chatting in the chat box, and I met my stitching twin there, sister from another mother, several months ago. I can tell you, I'm so bad with names. I remember her name starts with an M. So if you're watching, please forgive me that I don't remember your name. I should have written it down. But we were working on the same styles. There were same things we wanted to stitch next. It was hilarious. And like, I think we might be sisters from different mothers or something. I don't know. But it was hilarious. And fun. It was just fun. Okay, plans. So if you watch my last episode, there's like a bajillion salves that I want to start this month. So I've started 2, and the Hiragana one for the Stitch Asia. Like, okay, let me just say, Abby Bella Stitch, when I saw the Stitch Asia and she posted Jacob's Hiragana sampler as like, hey, here's one. I'm like, oh, yes, I've been eyeing that one for weeks and haven't pulled the trigger. And yeah, I went right over there and bought it. So Jacob, you can chalk that sale up to Abby Bella Stitch. But, and if you haven't, go look at Abby's, she's Abby Bella Stitch on Instagram also. Watch her floss tube. She's hilarious. I enjoy when I need a laugh. It's always good to have, and she means to be funny. Okay. I'm not, I do enjoy her a lot. And anyway, go look at her Instagram feed for all of the Asian inspired and Asian inspired work by anyone, and then work by Asian designers. And wow, there's lots of stuff out there. But she's right. It tends to be pretty heavy in like geishas and Japanese and some Chinese themes, not as much on other parts of Asia. What I really like too is that she's also including like the Middle East. You know, it's part of the Asian continent. So like Turkish designs, and there's some beautiful designs out there. So I'm like, but part of me is like, Abby, stop. I have enough stitching. So like everything you show, well, not everything, but there's a lot of stuff she's been showing that I want to stitch. So anyway, the next sal that I want to start is Chester's Place. And I will have the drawing near the end. Like I said, I'll do it before the science corner. So those of you that aren't interested in science can tune out by that time. But this was another one that started March 1st. The stitch along is being, so Jennifer Grace, the designer. Yes, I did have to look at your name, Jennifer. And I forget who else. Was it Abby Topknot? I can't remember who else. They're doing the Chester's Place sal. And I forget if the hashtag might be Chester's Place or might just be Chester. I forget now. Last time I think I had it written down, but not this time. Anyway, I haven't started this one yet, so I think I'm going to start this one today. If I don't work on the hiragana sampler, I will work on this today, but I also have to do some work, unfortunately. So we'll see. And part of it depends on how long I keep talking here. And then another one that I've already decided I'm not going to start till next weekend is the other sal I want to join this month. Sarcy Girls Pandemic Sampler, and Emily C. of Eclectic, oh shoot, come on, Eclectic something on Instagram. I'm going to have to look it up. Like, my brain's just not functioning today. Apparently, I haven't had enough caffeine yet. Okay, come on. Sometimes she's got stories up, and I can... Eclectic... Oh, shoot. Oh, I remember. She liked one of my comments. Eclectic Possessions. Emily C. here on FlossTube. Eclectic Possessions on Instagram. She and I think Sarcy Girl and I forget who else are selling this month, the Pandemic Sampler. That was a freebie from Sarcy Girl. Thank you very much. What was I going to say? I was going somewhere with this. Oh, I had decided, I stole this idea from Abby Bella Stitch. I decided I wasn't going to start mine till next weekend, around the 13th, because that's pretty much when I stopped going places last year. So I kind of wanted to, because the real reason was I had 4 sals that were supposed to start March 1st, and I knew I was barely probably going to have time to start one, because March 1st is a Monday, and Mondays are usually like, and it happened this week, like shit hits the fan, and my Monday plans for work go out the window, and I end up having to work late to try to catch up. Anyway, you know how it goes. But I do want to start this. And so when Abby said she was waiting until, I forget what date she decided, it was basically when they shut down where she is. It's like, oh, that's a good idea. And then I don't feel the stress of trying to start 4 sals on one day. So, but I do want to try to get to Chester's Place. I did not show the fabric and stuff again, so I won't for this one either, for Chester's Place. So I'll do that next time when I've actually started them. I did show them, I think, last time. And then the other thing I'd like to start this week, if possible, we'll see, is the next bird, because I think I could get this done this month like I did the Valentine. Well, I almost did the Valentine. It would be done if I had the thread. I was trying to be organized. And I put my threads away. Like the first time in centuries I've done that. See, that's what I get when I try to be organized. So this is St. Patrick's bird, obviously a good one for March. I'm stitching it on the same 36 count sparrow that I did the Valentine one on, and if I end up doing all the holidays on that, I'm gonna have to get some more, but that's okay. Just need to wait till the next time Misty dyes some. I'm gonna use the use that and the called for threads, I believe. I think I have them all. They're in this little bag. I will show them once I get started. And where do you go? I don't even remember where this one goes. Oh, I think this goes in Chester's place. Okay. I have one little unboxing and then I will do the drawing. Yeah. So, Michelle, this looks like it's gonna be a movie. So I hope you are settled in. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, actually, I think the week before I came up here, I was contacted by Stitchery, a company in Ireland that, so it says designed in Ireland, that's selling these cross-stitch kits for beginners. And they asked, like, apparently they had checked out my Instagram feed and like, you know, we'll send you money in PayPal to cover the cost, and we're selling these through Amazon, so you could buy it through Amazon. And we'd like you to try it out. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I do sometimes have, especially family members, approach me about getting started in cross stitch. And anyway, so I kind of like, at first I was kind of like, this is kind of weird, but like, you know, because it's not like I post a lot of beginner stuff or I have a ton of followers or anything like that. So I kind of checked out like who else was following them, and there was a couple of folks that had posted stories. And I was like, okay, well, it seems legit. So I responded and said, yeah, sure. And so I got the kit. Okay, so the post office, well, you know, it is what it is right now. But it comes with this nice little guide. So this isn't like a new unboxing because I did look at everything before I decided to show it on my FlossTube. So there's this nice little cross-stitch guide. The only thing I would say, it looked pretty good. It had lots of good tips. The only thing I would say that might be difficult for a beginner is that they, the way they tell you to start is to basically hold your thread on the back and catch it as you stitch, which, you know, I don't know, how many of you do that? I think Michelle does that, Michelle Benny Stitchy. That's what you do, right? I usually use, or used to use, an inline waist knot if I was just cross stitch and I was going to have enough stitches, or an away waist knot if it was, you know, kind of be like a stitch here and a stitch there and a stitch here. Yes, I do carry on the back. I try not to carry too far. But lately I've been stitching a lot like on 36 and 40 count or higher. And so I've been using a pin stitch and with one thread. So I've been using a pin stitch start. And then when I stitch with two threads, I actually, for DMC, I do the loop method, right? Misty Purcell gave a nice little demonstration of that, the way she does it. And so, and since here you're stitching with two threads, they might have shown that, but you know, but anyway, and then it comes with several patterns too. So let me show you what's actually in the kit. So you get 3 embroidery hoops, because the idea is that you could actually finish your stitching in one of these embroidery hoops. And I forget how many patterns there are. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 patterns, and I think somewhere, yeah, you can go, there's a 5th pattern, 6th pattern that, where's it? Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's a 6th pattern that you could get. And they're all cute. And if you look at it on Amazon, it shows you all of them. It doesn't have, let me see, is there pictures somewhere? This little thing here doesn't have just pictures, it's the chart, so I don't want to show the chart. Actually, for the last one, that's what it's supposed to look like. The 6th freebie that you can get off the internet. I don't think I explained that. You get it off the internet. There's a, or you email, you can claim. So maybe, I don't know. It's the VIP club. So, so these are for finishing also, and the instructions on how to do that is actually in here, which is nice. So they have pictures, they have nice pictures showing, you know, how to finish your stitching using the hoop. And it comes with floss. I haven't really opened this to see the quality of the floss. I am going to try one of the patterns. This comes with needles and a couple of needle threaders, and it shows you how to use the needle threaders in the booklet. And it even comes with a set of little clippers, little scissor clippers. And then, so one of the patterns is actually printed on the, and it's all Ada, on the Ada, and I believe this is, yeah, this is 14 count. And this is supposed to wash out. So I think what I'm going to do is this one, because I do like the rainbow. So I think I'm going to do this one and then see if it actually washes out. And I'll let you guys know. Because this might be a nice little kit to get for, you know, an older child or teenager that wants to try cross stitch. And then it also comes with Ada. And then a few, so they recommend bobbinating your floss. So it comes with this. And all of these are listed. It's A2000, so this is like A208, A817. So I'm wondering, does it tell you? I don't remember it saying what the floss was. So it explains what Ada is. Tells you about the needles. It's 24. The needles are number 24. I'm trying to see if it tells you. And it gives little tips throughout. Like tip, hang loose, drop your needle and let it hang, reduces the risk of threaded knots. So if you're like me and you twist your threads a lot, I mean, nobody actually told me to do that. I just did it. At least I don't think anybody ever showed me to do that. I think I just did it because it made sense. But it's nice for, you know, a new person not to have to figure that out on their own. Trying to see. So it should have all the threads that you need, but I'm trying to see if it tells you the source. So it's 37 colors of thread, each wrapped around handy bobbins. Each thread is 4 meters long and made up of 6 individual strands. They are numbered so you can match them to your pattern guide. So I'm wondering what company these threads are from. I might compare them against my DMC, and I do have a little bit of anchor, so I could compare the numbers. See, that's 817. That's not Ada 817. It looks more orange in the picture than it really is. No, maybe not. So that's not 817, I don't think. I think 817 is more burgundy, right? Maybe I'm thinking of 816. Anyway, that's another thing I need to do. So I am going to try out this maybe within the next 2 weeks. I probably won't finish this, but I do want to do this one and follow the instructions on what to do with it to get rid of the printed stuff and see if it actually works. But yeah, because this might be something, you know, if I like this, might be something I could recommend to friends that want to start cross stitch, or you know, family members, whoever. Okay, are we ready for the drawing winners? And then I'll show you some haul. I have a very little haul with me. I have more in Brownsville. Well, some I forgot to show last time. and there's some sitting in my mailbox. And I had one thing shipped here, and then another is my gift from my husband for Valentine's, but well, I asked for it. Ask and you shall receive. Okay, so I did the drawing using YouTube's random comment picker. Thank you, Nicole's Needlework, and then somebody else I was watching did it that way too, and I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. Not that I had a ton of comments, but you know, I'm still new at this, so relatively. Okay, so the winner of Chester's Place, just make sure. I'm sorry. Yes, the winner of Chester's Place is Sally Fowler. Okay, so this is the comment picker. There were 3 comments that mentioned Chester's Place, so you had a 33.33333333 ad infinitum chance of winning. But Sally said, I'm glad, well, I would have been happy for any of you, but Sally said, my daughter also has a cat named Chester, so I must stitch Chester's Place. I mean, is that cool or what? And then for berries, the winner is Carla Rigel, or Rigel. And there were 4 comments that mentioned Chester. Some mentioned both, but so 3 mentioned, I'm sorry, berries. There were 4 that mentioned berries and 3 that mentioned Chester. And I think all of the ones that mentioned berries also mentioned Chester, but not all the ones that mentioned Chester mentioned berries. Whatever. Anyway, so Carla, you won berries. Sally, you won Chester. I will put a comment on your comments. I haven't done that yet. I was just eager to get recording so I could get this done before my husband gets back from taking care of his plants. What was I going to say? So I will make a comment on your comment. So please email me because I need your email address. Or you can direct message me on Instagram, whatever you feel more comfortable with. But I do need your email address. I'm also Science Minister on Instagram. But I need your email address so I can, for Chester's Place. So Sally, I need your email address so I can send you the PDF or the link to it. And then I think I have to send you the PDF. I'll double check what Jennifer told me. And then I need to let Jennifer know your email address so she knows that your copy is legit. So if you have any questions about it or any problems with the file, you can message her or email her directly and she'll know it's a legit copy. For Carla, who won berries, I need to give your email to Misty Purcell of Luminous Fiber Arts, the designer of that piece, and she will email or get to you her PDF. So that's they each decided to do it slightly differently, but you will each be getting a PDF either from me or from the designer. And so I need your email. So because both designers asked for your email. Okay, so shall we see a little bit of haul? So I realize I actually have been getting needle minders. Like I don't use them usually on my stitching piece because I am mainly stitching in hand these days. Although I use them a lot on needlepoint pieces because those obviously I do in a frame. I don't do those in hand. Although I haven't been working on any. But I do like to keep the needle minders near where I'm stitching. So let's just say I am really bad about like, oh my God, where did I put my needle? So Yeah, so needle minders come in handy for that purpose. So actually, while I'm here right now, I have a needle minder sitting on my light. I have one of those lights that I don't even know if they make these anymore, but they made at one time in the early aughts, they were making lights that actually like could match your decor. So our decor down here is like, there's sort of a wrought iron theme going on a little bit, sort of. At least in our fixtures on the doors and stuff. Not wrought iron. What is it? They're like brown and they're metallic, but they're brown, like they're, you know, old. So there was a finish like that on an light, and so I got one for the living room, and it's metal. So needle minders stick to it. So I've actually got the Positivity Rules needle minder from Caterpillar Cross Stitch on the stem of the pole of the light, and that's where I've been sticking my needles, so I don't like stick them in the chair and then forget about them and sit on them. That would not be good. So I saw on Instagram, I really need to stay off Instagram, Allison Rosen, it's Charm School, had some new needle minders out that were sort of tea themed. So I went to her Etsy shop and bought a few. And this is the second time I've bought from her, and I don't think I've ever showed it, or maybe I showed it. No, I don't think I've ever actually showed it on any of my floss tubes. I bought her her RGB, RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, one that she did right after she passed on, after Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed on. And anyway, I don't think I ever showed it. But she packages, this is the second package I've gotten from her, and she packages in these cute little boxes, and they're very nicely packaged. I kind of messed it all up. They're very nicely packaged. And what's really cool is you get this, she gives you like, she sends you little, I don't know if they're stickers or, I think they might, I don't know. But they're cute, and lots of little doodads. And then you also get a little card from her that says, okay. Oh, where did that card go? Maybe it's here. Oh, here it is. Well done. You have passed Charm School 101. And then it's a little, and I think I forgot to use this last time. Next time you return to school, be sure to use the code CHARMED for 15% off. So I need to remember to use it this time, because I'm sure I will be back. So what did I buy? Well, I think I've mentioned I love teapots and teacups, so I had to get this little teacup. Let's see. It says, I don't think you can, it says Tea Lover. It's got little flowers, and it's blue and orange. Blue isn't quite my school colors, but, you know, blue and orange are my school colors. And then while I was there, if you follow me on Instagram, you know I often mention a wine pairing with my dinner. So she had this less wine with an H, more wine without the H. So these come actually in these little things, these little, on a cardboard, little card, which I think, I don't know. Anyway, there we go. So I thought that was cute. So not tea related, but I happened to notice it. And then this is a thread puller. You can pull your thread through. Oh. And it's a little tea bag. So this says This this says T. I don't know. You probably can't read that. Can't get it to focus very well. But anyway, so I actually have used this a couple of times. If you buy one of these, this is the first time I've actually bought one of these. I've actually used the wire form of threaders before for that purpose when I was playing Thread Chicken. So this is the first time, but be careful because the tip is sharp. I found out the hard way, which is great for getting in behind your threads. But then also be careful as you pull it through. I've shredded my thread a couple times when I've used this already. And I think it might partly be because my stitches might have been a bit tight, maybe. But this is really easy to thread through the back, and then you thread through your stitches. You guys probably all know how to use these, right? You thread through the back of your stitches, and then thread your thread through there, and then pull. But I'm actually going to leave this out of the box because this has been on my needle minder. But yes, this wire will stick to at least the earth magnet type needle minders, which I think these are too. But I love what she uses on the backs. Like she has just little. These she has little flowers on the Ruth Bader Ginsburg one. I forget what it was, but there was something. It wasn't a flower. There was something on the back. So I've just been I didn't want to put them back in their cardboard, so I've just kind of been doing this. So those will sit out somewhere. So I'm going to leave this out of the box. And this is going to go, the little 15% off is going to go back in the box. So that's that. So I can recommend those. They're very, very well done and nice. And I don't know how she gets writing so small. Maybe it shrinks. Yes, I don't know. So another sort of like haul gift. More earrings from Love is a Seed. They do have an Etsy shop. They're local here in Corpus Christi. They sell at some of the farmers markets. Well, the 2 farmers markets that my husband sells his flowers and vegetables at. And she had these for like just before Valentine's Day. So I asked my husband to ask her if she had any. I think she had a sale in her Etsy shop, and it wasn't clear if there were any, because she could do these. She had these options on sterling, or I can't remember what the other options were. And I wanted sterling, so I asked him to ask her, did she have any there that day? It was a Saturday, so I texted him, like, did you have any? I like these. And she didn't, but she said she'd make some. So he just needed to tell her what I wanted. But what I really like is that they also always give you an extra little thing. So I guess, like, if, I'm not sure why, because that wouldn't really, it looks different. But anyway, they always give you this little extra thing. I guess if you wanted to make a necklace to go with it, you could use it for that. I should ask her. Like, why do you always give the little extra thing? But I showed the Christmas ones that I got a couple of years ago, and the ones I had my husband buy for me for Christmas this year. So I almost wore these today, but I decided to show them to you guys anyway. I think I'll wear them tomorrow. I like them because they're very dainty. But they've got a wonderful selection. They do bracelets and everything. So check them out on Etsy. Love is a Seed. Great people. So one of the things I did recently, which I really, really appreciate, is they got, I don't know who organized it, but they and several other of the non-grower, non-producer vendors for the Saturday Farmers Market got together and had a pop-up sale where the proceeds or some percentage of the proceeds went to all the farmers that sell at the regulars that sell members that sell at this Saturday farmers market here in town because of the losses due to the unprecedented stint of cold weather we had a couple weeks ago. So they're doing their own brand of craftivism. So thank you, Amanda and Harley. Okay, so that's all the stitching and haul that I have to show, but I did want to mention, I think I'd mentioned that I've been doing a little bit of knitting again, been trying to do some knitting. I started, this looks like a mess, but it's not really. So this bag is from Dancing Sheep. She's on Etsy. I guess, oh, she has got her own website now too. Ha! DancingSheepKnits.com. Check her out. I know she had an Etsy shop. Maybe I didn't even notice. I bought this last year, year before. I hope she doesn't watch this. I've known her for a while now. Anyway, Dancing Sheep. I love her bags. So this is one of her bags. But anyway, I found I have got a bunch of acrylic yarn. And let me just say, it's not my fave. I'm pretty high maintenance when it comes to my crafts, which for knitting usually means hand dyed. But anyway, I started a little blanket and no pattern. I just started knitting. So I worked on this a little bit this week. I put in like maybe 3 or 4 stitches in a meeting, and then I was taking notes and I didn't pick it up again. So my wrist has been doing a lot better, so I thought I would try a little knitting. So maybe this week I'll work on this a little bit more. There are a couple of days where I have a lot of meetings, so unless I have to really pay attention, well, not so much paying attention as whether I have to, because I can pay attention, especially, this is just garter stitch, which means knit every row. And I just cast on until it looked long enough, and like I'm just going to knit until I run out of yarn, and it's going to be a blanket, a garter stitch blanket, which I might give to my niece's daughter. Maybe. We'll see how big it is, if it's big enough. Anyway, yeah, it's just knit, which, I can do without looking at it. I've been knitting long enough. So it's just a matter of whether I have to take notes or I'm like working on the computer. So, yeah, sometimes I'm working on the computer during a meeting. So anyway. Okay, so that's it for crafty stuff. So if you're not interested in the sciencey stuff, have a wonderful day. But I did want to end with a little science corner today. And I sort of alluded to this a month ago, maybe longer. Maybe it was like 2 FlossTubes ago, which would be a month and a half ago. But I had heard about, because my boss's boss, our vice president of instruction, had shared with me an article that she had seen. So yeah, it was like a month and a half ago a month ago, because this was from February 5th. So this was a link to a story that she had shared from technologyreview.com. And the name of the story is "The Next Act for Messenger RNA Could Be Bigger Than COVID Vaccines." So 2 of the 3 COVID vaccines that are out now, the Moderna and the Pfizer, the ones that came out first, are based on technology where they basically, they make the code for a protein. So let me like step back for a second, sort of molecular level biology 101. The way our cells and any organism's cells makes the stuff that the cell needs and our body needs. It all has to do with making proteins. And the code for making that protein is in our chromosomes, in the DNA. The DNA has a code because the individual building blocks of the DNA have one of 4 different pieces. Like, it's all the same except for this one part that we call a nitrogenous base. You don't need to remember that part. But that part that differs, the sequence of those different nitrogenous bases on the DNA, is the code for a protein or for an RNA. Some of them never actually get made into proteins. We won't go there. Because the one we're interested in right now are the ones that get made into proteins. So, but it doesn't code directly, because for organisms like ourselves, our DNA is in a separate part of the cell. It's almost like if our cell is a house, the DNA is in a room where there's only one way in and out, and the way out is through sending a message, and that message is in a related compound called RNA, which basically has a very similar structure, has same kind of building blocks, very similar building blocks. And the different building blocks are there's 4 different ones, or 4 main different ones. And they correspond to one of the ones in the DNA. So you may have heard of letters like A, T's, G's, and C's. Those are just shorthand for the 4 different kinds of building blocks that can be in the DNA. And it's the sequence of those A's, G's, T's, and C's that make the code. RNA has the same kind of thing, except instead of the T, it has a U. Okay, it's a slightly different chemical compound. But it, and this is probably more info than you need to know, but the A's match up in the DNA, match up with the U's in the RNA. So basically they're complementary sequences, right? And G's match up with C's. So the code in the DNA gets what we call transcribed. So it basically gets copied into a piece of RNA. And we call that messenger RNA because it takes that code from the room of the nucleus into the main part of the cell to where that code can then get translated, that's the term we use, into a protein. And proteins, their building blocks are amino acids. So it has the code for the sequence. The code gives the sequence of the amino acids in the protein. Some proteins are more complex than that. Like they have different pieces that have to come together, but let's just keep it simple. And so those 2, the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines, the way they work is that they're getting messenger RNA that codes for what's called the spike protein on the COVID virus, the COVID-19 virus. Your body, the vaccine doesn't use live virus or anything like that. It's just the messenger RNA. So that goes into your cells and it gets translated into that spike protein. And so basically your body sees the spike protein and reacts to it the same way it would react to the virus. Well, where did this technology come from and why were they were already researching this. And really, it wasn't so much for vaccines they were researching it for. Apparently they were researching it more for genetic diseases. Like, I guess a vaccine in terms of like HIV, which is really hard to vaccinate against because it mutates, it changes so quickly, way faster than like the coronaviruses or even the flu virus, which changes, as we know, changes every year. What's circulating changes every year. So basically what they do is if they've got these messenger RNAs they put them in what they call fatty spheres. So they can carry the the mRNA into our cells. And then our body makes that protein, and our cells make that protein, and our body's like, whoa, this isn't ours. This is bad. This is a virus. Let's get rid of it. And so the immune response gets triggered. Well, they could use that same technology to deliver RNA that make, say, proper versions of hemoglobin for folks that have sickle cell, or proper versions of, and I forget the name of the protein for those that have cystic fibrosis. There's a protein that is in the surface of our cells that controls, is it, I think it's sodium, how, the delivery of sodium in and out of the cell. And that's what causes the problem for cystic fibrosis. And I forget the name of the protein. But anyway, they could potentially do that. So that's what the people that have been involved in this kind of research, and I had their names written down and I forgot. Let's see. Weissman and Carico, I think, are the ones that came up with the original idea about this, or one of the ones that came up with this original idea. But anyway, so they're actually more excited about those kind of potentials, but it just happened they had been researching delivering messenger RNA to our cells, and I'm like, well, let's use this for vaccines, like for HIV. And then, so they already had the machinery and the theory all worked out, and some of the practical aspects worked out because of these other things they were working on and that's how they were able to get those vaccines, the vaccines out so quickly, the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines out so quickly. And so this this technology of making a messenger RNA and packaging it. So the rate limiting step, or one of the rate limiting steps, the way I understand it, is getting the code so you can make the messenger RNA, right? So that's why it was so important that they sequenced the genome and figured out which gene of the COVID virus and which gene, the SARS-2 virus, which gene actually coded for that spike protein. And since we already had some information about SARS viruses, they knew where to look for that gene, and figuring out what it coded for. That was just a matter of engineering the messenger RNA and then figuring out the best way to deliver it so that your body actually made the product that it would then react to with an immune response. So anyway, I had said in a previous FlossTube that I wanted to talk about it a little bit because of these other uses and that there were. So in coming years, we may see approaches to some of our genetic diseases like sickle cell, cystic fibrosis, that use this same kind of approach, this messenger RNA approach. And so I just wanted to share that because I think it's pretty exciting. And I think the guys that came up with this idea, or at least were among the first to develop it a bit, I think they were nominated for a Nobel Prize. I think I read that. I didn't have time to go back and review everything before this. I should have just mentioned it last time and left it long. Made a very long FlossTube, like this one is. So this is about 140 hour and 40 minutes. So movie length, short movie length. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing my stitching and some of my haul. I hope to report more on that Stitchery kit in the future, and get started on a couple more sals. And I haven't really given a WIPGO report. So for those of you that aren't following WIPGO, WIPGO is like bingo. And I forgot to write down her name this time. Somebody started, so you have like a board, like a bingo board. And so this month, so last month my choices that came up were, so yeah, this is gonna be like an hour and 45 minutes. My WIPGO choices that came up were choose a mermaid and choose a bright needle. So I finished the mermaid. I forgot to say that. So I did get my 5 days on a mermaid. But since I was dithering so much about the bright needle, I did finally choose one. I did not get my 5 days on that. And that was on purpose. I was like, no, I'm not stressing myself out. This is, it's to help motivate and help me choose what I'm going to stitch, but I'm not married to it. And you don't have to finish within the month anyway. So I can do my 5 days on the bright needle later. But it turns out for this month, the 2 numbers that came up, I forget the numbers, but one of them was, again, for me, the box said, choose a bright needle. So now I'm going to owe 10 days on bright needle. I think I might just work on that one piece that I showed you guys last time. Anyway, went right to it. And then the other one was, Hawk Run Hollow, which I really want to work on, but I don't have it here. So I didn't bring it because I came up before the numbers were drawn. So I didn't know what it was going to be. And I decided not to sweat it. So, okay. I think I am really done now. So maybe next time I'll do a full WIPGO report. Maybe I'll get my act together and update. I haven't updated my WIPGO board yet or anything. So I might try to do that. Or I might just, like work on Ann Roberts for the rest of the month. Who knows? But I plan to come back in 2 weeks. I should have showed you guys. Where did I put it? Actually, this is like when I say goodbye to somebody. It takes me like 10 minutes to say goodbye to somebody. I actually put in my my little calendar here, made little FTs for the weeks I plan to do FlossTube. So 2 weeks, I'm planning. Even I think I'll try to do something at least even short. I should be able to, because that's the end of spring break. I do have to do some work during spring break. I have a meeting on one day with the evaluator for my grant. I did that on purpose because I know next week's going to be very busy. I have a couple of days where I pretty much meeting already. So anyhow, what was I going to say? I am trying to end this. I was going to say something that was going somewhere. Oh yeah, so my next FlossTube will be at the end of our spring break. So hopefully that week I'll have had time to get some stitching done. I'll have stuff to show. And anyway, if you won one of the drawings, please respond to my comment. I'll tell you how to email me. I'll indicate what my email address is without putting the actual email address. It's sciencenister@gmail.com. So I'll probably say something like just add gmail.com to my YouTube handle. So that's not, like if somebody's just trolling for email addresses, they don't find it. Anyway, so unless there's some way to write a personal comment on YouTube without it being public, I don't know. I'll Google that. I'll Google that before I put the comment in. Okay. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing my stuff and listening to me ramble. Now I have to clean up the mess I've made here since I forgot to put half the stuff back where it belongs. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Even if it's just a short one, I'm sure I'll be able to record in 2 weeks. Unless, stuff happens and I just don't have it in me. But, okay. Take some time to be kind to yourself and remember to be kind to your neighbors. Bye.